Okay, so welcome to the session. How to land a product manager job in 40 days. So my name is Rich. I'm the co-founder of Product Gym and also of Elevate. Thank you guys all for joining me today. Annalisa, I'm glad you're here. We only got a chance to speak a few days ago, but thanks for actually following basic instructions. Kel, it's the first time getting a chance to see you. Piyush, we briefly met the last webinar. On God, I've not met, and then Ray, I've been seeing on these webinars for like a while. So I'm going to go ahead and actually kind of address some of the questions. My job is to try to help as many people get a product manager job as possible. And clearly there's been a lot of deviation from like what people know about job hunting for a product manager role compared to like 2021, 2022, all the way up until now. And um, I know a lot of people are frustrated in that process. Like all of a sudden the rules kind of the game change, and it's just like, what the fuck is going on out here? Is there something wrong with me? Or, am I 3 years late to prom? Like what's so like the reality of the situation is yes, a lot has changed. My job is just to go out there and kind of inform you guys of what kind of like the new rules of engagement are. And I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying that yeah, it's gotten effed up and it'll only get more effed up. So either, I think people kind of adapt and understand how to play this new game, or you basically risk getting left behind. So I'm going to give you guys kind of like a market update of like what's going on right now. So we have everything kind of broadcast on school. So for starters here, is everybody seeing my screen? Fantastico.
Yep.
So for starters here, I ran a challenge starting at the beginning of the year because kind of like morale coming in from like 2024 was at an all-time low. And I basically hosted a challenge and I've been documenting it. Before we were only hosting really like about one coaching call like a week. And for those of you that are curious, like, am I splitting my time against like tech sales, and then we also have a cybersecurity program. We're kind of doing the same shit too for the other two programs. But I started documenting overall. Let's see here. Where's a day that I can find? Uh, this was probably the first post that I had, which was like the Q1 job hunting challenge. And then we basically had like this is like day 13, day 14, day 15, day 20, and just like live streaming basically the whole thing for people. And what I've noticed was basically this all the way up to like day 37. People were just number one, they didn't really understand what the new resume kind of methodology was, for one. Number two was that what companies were really looking for. And then also number three, they weren't really being consistent with applying. I think that's actually the biggest part is not getting the mental aspect that nobody talks about job hunting because the the effort bar has been raised so much higher in terms of what's required to get this job. So when you don't have positive reinforcement, which is what we try to have at the community here, is when you don't have positive reinforcement, you kind of get to the point where it's just like, is this shit even worth it anymore? Like, like why am I even doing this, right? Your brain will go out there and viciously try to protect you from getting disappointed. The price of the full program is 7,000, and I also realize that not everybody can go ahead and afford that. So for once a week on school, what I'm trying to do is just give you guys insights. For people that obviously it makes financial sense for them and they would like to dramatically expedite it, they will see that pretty much everybody that started the challenge with us from January 4th has all landed multiple offers. So we've documented like the whole testimonial round. So like if people want to talk to me about that, like this guy here, a month ago, multiple offers. We expedited the job hunting challenge for him. Um, Landed a crypto product manager job. He's one smiling mother lover right now. 90, 120 day turnaround time. 300K product manager job. He was averaging about 25 product manager interviews a week. Full program, 90 to 120 days, 5 offers. So you'll also see him bagged offers at Airbnb, Robinhood, Venmo. So I think other things about paradigm shifts, like are people even still doing those kind of numbers? Are those people still doing those kind of numbers even in this market? I would say yes, they're still putting up like big numbers, multiple offers, 4 offers in 60 days, um, AI product manager job at Disney Plus. And then also like he secured multiple offers, multiple offers, multiple offers. So the first thing that I try to have people have just a paradigm shift is this. Number one, product management hiring is still alive and well. Because if you feel like it's like game over, you're not even gonna want to you're not even gonna want to exert effort. So product management hiring, first and foremost, it's alive. Well, companies are still hiring. Then the next part of the challenge is like, okay, Rich, so companies are hiring out there. What do I need to do that's different? The thing that I need to really stress with people is like, see, there's like another role 2 hours ago, director of product. Let me go ahead and actually tag this and pop it into the chat. So what's been the main difference? Well, one of the main differences, like 278,000 people from tech has gotten laid off. So the standard, like I was born and raised in LA and then moving to New York, living in New York for the last 8 years, like the standard for like, I think Asians can like, I think kind of empathize with me. The standard for like a Chinese or Korean restaurant in LA versus that in New York is like night and day. Much lower price, much higher quality. New York is like much lower quality, much higher price, but definitely a better vibe. So they make up for it, right? So like, yeah, you all of a sudden you've had like all these, especially big tech companies that have done layoffs. Has the bar been elevated 100% to say that there's like, for me to say to you guys with a straight face that there isn't the expectation and the bar hasn't been higher and there isn't an excess of supply versus demand is going to be straight up lying, which is something that I don't do. So most of the roles right now, I am going to tell you guys this, they are being transacted on LinkedIn, but it's not on the job board. It's actually on the job posts. So if you go to posts, hiring managers are actually posting, I'm looking for somebody on my team. So you go to see all posts, and then you'll actually see like hiring managers actually posting up directly, just kind of like the ones that I just showed you right now. And also the one that I source out here on the Airtable for you guys. Most of the postings, oh yeah, don't make a rant on how bad the job hunt is going for you. It's the fastest way for you to guarantee not getting a job because it just shows that you're very desperate. So I get people are very frustrated, but like this one right here. Okay. We're on the hunt for a product manager. Very exciting opportunity posted up 4 hours ago from the founder and the CEO. Um, I'm going to let you guys know exactly why they're doing this because there's a crowd of resumes coming in, and we're gonna do the resume review today. And I live stream all of my shit. Everybody shows their faces. And I'm gonna tell you why it doesn't really matter is because there is such an overload of resumes in the ATS, and the ATS was not built to handle that type of volume. So, if me and Cal here opened up a sandwich shop, it can be better than Subway. But we by no means were ever built to handle a military base of people buying sandwiches from us. So then the question does come down to Rich, well, why is recruiting tech that? Because nobody buys it. I have people trying to transition to their first product manager role, and they wouldn't even take a job at a recruiting tech company because there's no money in it. Recruiters don't offer money to a company. There's no they don't bring in revenue. So recruiters, this is why I left recruiting to start my people like, why'd you leave recruiting? Because there's no money in it. Like we're the last to get the best computers. We're the last to get the new printers. The first round is like engineering team because you have nothing to sell unless you have something to sell. Then the second round goes to like sales and marketing and ads. Then like finance, accounting, operations, and legal, they're the third round. Recruiting is we're in the back of the back office. That's actually the last person that you're hiring for, right? So like in terms of recruiting, they're not like incentivized. So I'm telling you guys all of this because the reason why founders and CEOs are posting up for jobs themselves is because they're like looking at their recruiters and they're like, why are we not getting better resumes? There's so much talent out there. But on the hiring side, the recruiting cycle has not gotten shorter, even though there's been like about a 20x in terms of supply of talent. So you would think like right now, companies should be able to hire somebody within 24 hours. No, it's actually taking companies more time to hire now, even though they have all the leverage and even though they can get you guys at discounts, they are still taking, it's taking them longer. And that's why companies actually reach out to us and they're like, yo, Rich, who do you have? Because with ChatGPT, all of these resumes now look alike. So I will give you guys all of the tips and the tricks to go out there and make that product manager resume look more polished. But just to let you guys know, that's gonna make a difference. But like a bulletproof vest is actually not 100% bulletproof. Like having a college degree gives you an advantage over people that don't have it, but is it going to give you that much more of an advantage? This is really not going to give you that much more of an advantage because most people right now, they don't even have the bandwidth to look at resumes. So that comes up to the next shift in terms of, well, why are they not looking at my resume? I would say in 2019, 2020, if somebody took the product management main program at 7 Gs, this was all they had to worry about doing was getting a job. It's like I'm kind of at a point right now where like I like want to make this transition or like I feel like I freed up some time. I just wrapped up a project at work. Right now, on the professional level, if you're left standing on the job, you're doing about 5 to 8 people's job. If you are on the job hunt right now, you got 5 to 8 other bullshit that's going on right now too. On top of the fact that there just seems like there's more and more negative news. Like every week right now, it seems like a plane's going down, right? People aren't even like surprised. There's like some more wilder shit. So you got to understand right now, people's bandwidth is also getting like sucked dry. So even if you had like, even if like I slapped somebody on the face on the street and said, look at my resume, you'd really have to be making a huge wager that they're actually going to spend the amount of time looking at a resume that they did with the same level of bandwidth as in like 2019. So having like your rocket pitch of like the top 3 things that's going to differentiate you, what's been helping our people get product manager interviews quickly, that has also been very, very helpful in them getting offers. The next paradigm shift that I need people to actually have before we talk about the resume in terms of like, because you guys want to let's align all of our intentions correctly right now is if you guys are on this call right now, whether you're paying $7,000 for my main program or like trying to get us at like, kind of like the light version is school, is that you're trying to get the highest paid product manager job in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of bullshit. And preferably, you probably don't want to be on this call for a long time, and you probably don't want to come back to this call, right? You also have to realize that in 2021 hiring, companies kind of knew what they were hiring for. So it was about whether or not you were qualified for the role. Right now, every week, the roadmap is changing, if not every 72 hours. So you'll have like China dropping like a deep seek, and all of a sudden it's just like, we got to reorient our game plan again. So the reason why there's been a huge momentum shift from specialist to generalist is like, we have 2.5 years of data just showing the job constantly changing because the market is moving faster. And one highlight of that is like this too. Like JP Morgan has set up what a bunch of scumbags. But have you guys heard of this thing called the War Room? JP Morgan. Okay. JP Morgan pulls Trump like war room all-nighters to go out there and analyze like every time the guy's making an executive order, they are looking at how that's going to affect their positions. And when finance makes a move, tech reacts. This is what I learned moving from California over to New York is the relationship between these two industries, right? So if you type in like war room, Meta, deep sea. Reddit Meta is reportedly scrambling engineers. So like that was like the greatest flex. Was just like, yo, like we want you guys to send Jensen Huang the best Chinese New Year present ever. Like there's a reason why 48 hours. They're like, Chinese government was like, you guys not going home unless that thing's shopping on Monday, exactly like 48 hours before the 29th, which is like Chinese New Year for those of us who like celebrate. And then like all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, everybody, new game plan, new game plan. So I want people to actually like, challenge number one is like, how are we going to even get these interviews? That's paradigm shift we have to break through one time. And paradigm shift number two and challenge number two that we have to actually go out there and break through is like, okay, I can get the interviews. I'm like, but like I'm interviewing with them, but like it seems like the role is changing all the time. Seems like every person that I'm talking to is changing. Like everybody's has a different interpretation of the role because they're also burnt out. Something that's also like gotten our people why our program in terms of like how much more we spend training people in terms of like how they're getting multiple offers, multiple offers, multiple offers, multiple offers is and also multiple offers is this a third of the people that work in tech right now that's in a position of hiring, they're also with a significant other that's also gotten laid off. So you got to think about however fun you guys are right now job hunting. That's what they're going home to right now too. They've also like 40% loneliness is at an all-time high. This is actually recruiting data that I can give you guys that you guys won't find anywhere else. Is also um, loneliness is at an all-time high and people feel like they have a loss of community. That's why, like, even at $87 a month, I wanted to provide some people some sense of community going through this challenge because if you're still left standing, chances are you've had to lay off some of your friends. Whereas, like, okay, like, unfortunately today I have to like let you go. Like, I mean, it's a business decision, right, man? It's like, yo, dude, I fought for you, but like, but who's staying? Jen. The fuck? Why? You mean to tell me is it because she has a TikTok channel? I mean, she's spending 20 hours a week just editing video. Dude, bro, it was not my choice. But yeah, that's actually the other thing. I actually run like, I actually had a meetup earlier today where we're talking about how to turn product managers into tech influencers because people that have a brand, they're less likely at getting laid off. So you gotta like imagine that front. They're overworked, they're burnt out, they're working all night, all weekends. Most of our postings are happening between like 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. at night, and you guys are seeing it just posted up like 43 minutes ago, 14 minutes ago because these people are working more and they're working more because they have less people to work with. So like, you could have like a good looking resume, but you might not, you might apply, you might not get it. You have to follow up with LinkedIn. You might get the interview through LinkedIn, but the role is actually, you might be a good fit for the role, but the role might go ahead and change. We know this also from the interview questions have went from a lot of technical questions and domain specific questions to now we log all the interview questions with AI. It's been 91% has been behavioral questions like how do you manage multiple high level priorities? How would you rank these priorities like from top? If I gave you these 5 tasks and they're all high level, and the truth of the matter is like it's 5 top level priorities, but they're all priority level 1, and it's kind of like they're tripping you up. Like, how do you deal with a difficult stakeholder? How do you manage like your work-life balance in a time when you don't have work-life balance, right? And they're all trying to gauge essentially how do you operate effectively under extreme stress? Like, say we had to let go of our email marketing specialist, how would you go ahead and fulfill those responsibilities if it doesn't make sense for us to hire like a new email marketing? Because that's what you're working on right now is tech was on this growth spurt for about more than 14 years. And then all of a sudden it's like, they had enough people, too many people, enough resources. So if you're not able to come in here and interview at the human level, what our strategy has been very effective in training people to do is like, I was like, there's nobody right now really questioning whether or not you guys can draft up a roadmap, a PRD, or like, run an effective customer discovery session. What we've noticed is product management interviews have become effectively product management therapy sessions. And honestly, the quality of your therapy session equates to whether or not you're going to get an offer and how big that offer is because they're looking for somebody to emotionally rely on. So if you're going into those interviews right now very stressed out, feeling very desperate, there's tons of qualified talent that's just not getting jobs, and they're going to the final round all the time and they're not getting the offer, and we want you guys to get offers. And the reason for that is like if they don't feel like they can depend or rely on you emotionally, they will also not move forward with you. And we actually had this one lady that just enrolled in the full program right before this call, and she's like, you're 100% right, because I've been looking at all of the companies that I've gotten rejected from, and she's former Airbnb PM, and she's like, they've all hired people with less experience than me on the job. And I was like, you want to know? And she was convinced of taking our program because actually one of the jobs that she was interviewing at, she found out that one of our testimonials took the job there. And she's like, what do you think that person's doing different? Because I just stalked that person on LinkedIn and I know I have more experience than they do. Because I was like, just the overall vibe that I'm getting from this conversation right now, I'm feeling stressed out as shit. So chances are, like, I wouldn't want to hire you either. And if you don't want to take the program, that's totally okay because I got three other ones that print cash for us. I have an influencer program. I have a cybersecurity program, which is freaking hot because, China and North Korea has been hacking everybody's crypto. And then we also have a tech sales program. So I was like, honestly speaking, product management is my lowest paying program, but it's the program I started out with. So I'll have an affinity for it. Uh, but like with that said, like if you guys are going into the interview right now, you have one intention is to take the job. And I'm here whether or not, people are paying like 7,000 or $87 a month to try to help people take jobs because this is a horrible position to be in. But however shitty you guys are feeling right now is however shitty the hiring team is also feeling right now. And if you go and you try to compete with just sheer experience, you're just going to end up in the friend zone like all these other qualified product managers that's just been getting laid off nonstop, going to the next interview and wondering what they're doing wrong. So the first problem that we have to solve is getting you guys more product manager interviews. And then the second problem is how to convert those interviews into offers. And that always starts with solving the quantity problem. Uh, and how do we solve the quantity problem? Quite simple. These are the following metrics you guys have to follow. Number one is you guys have to apply to at least 50 to 100 jobs, mass apply a day. Just get the apps out there. LinkedIn Easy Apply, Indeed, it doesn't matter. You have to get it out. And I really recommend for people to follow the following order. Source the roles first, all onto a spreadsheet or onto the Airtable, because you want to source up about 200 to 300 roles and just make that as part of your methodology first and foremost. Make that as part of your methodology and start segmenting the roles that you know you're going to be a good fit for. The more roles you rack up, the more excited you are about the market because you're seeing new positions that are coming up over and over and over. Like it's like, oh shit, I would kill that role, I'll kill that role. If you go ahead and you apply to each role individually, you will go ahead and you will weigh down your momentum and you cannot hit basically this flow where you can just jam out resumes over and over and over and over and over again. That's number one. So I see people like they analyze, oh, what's this Edify? And then they open up Edify's webpage and then they look up Edify's founder. And then it's lunchtime and then it's dinner time. You only got out 3 applications. You're going to be on these calls until like, freaking 4th of July. You don't want that. I mean, I don't want that. So like the first thing is like Edify, regardless of what they do, who they are, where they're located, remote, hybrid, in office, grab the roles first, put that thing all onto a spreadsheet. The more positions that you have, add a star to it, add a note to it, interested, emoji, whatever. The more positions that you are excited to go ahead and apply to a day, the better you're naturally just going to go ahead and feel. The next thing is you got to go ahead and you got to go ahead and apply. So when I open up Edify here, I would really prioritize companies where the founder and the CEO is posting themselves. This was only like posted like 4 hours ago. But why founders and CEOs? Number one, it's the hardest time to go out there and get funding right now. So if you grab funding, an army of MBA analysts has already determined that you have a very good chance of printing cash, especially under the current market climate and especially under the current presidential administration. So, companies go through seasons, right? Like BlackBerry and Nokia was hot at one point, and look at them now. I mean, nobody would be caught dead with one. Tinder was hot when they came out. I mean, I know some people that got married meeting somebody on Tinder. I mean, it's hot garbage right now as an app. So like whether or not that company has a product market fit, don't go for like still so many people tell me doing like, oh, I want to go out there and get a job at Meta. I'm like, why? They just laid off 3,600 people and they just gave their executive team a 200% bonus. Like, and Mark just celebrated like his wife's birthday at spared no expense. I'm pretty sure he felt really good booking that party, knowing he just laid off 3,600 people. Like, we can cover this. I got you want to go ahead and measure that output. We already have it all onto the Airtable. My team member here, Plexi, is actually on it. You can also, if you want to get a little bit like ahead of it, you can also go out there and sort through latest. But 1 minute ago, product manager at like Infoblox, right? This is actually how we're so fast. Because I have like a virtual assistant. Literally, they're watching this thing like all day. So it's like speed to lead is also very, very, very important. So this is why like I recommend for people to not have a resume where it requires like all of our resumes for even the people in the main program, people always ask this all the time. They're like, shit, like 8 product manager interviews like a week, like 6 product manager interviews a week, like Hulu, zero customization. Like customizing, number one, you don't enjoy doing it. People argue with me about it all the time. They're like, are you doing it now? No. Do you enjoy doing it? No. Then why are you arguing for it? I mean, shit. You know, I know I'm not supposed to eat like Korean fried chicken at like 2 o'clock in the morning, but I went for a run last night. I felt like I deserved it, like, and I did, like, don't do things that you don't like believe in, like the reality is by time, how many times do you guys go on LinkedIn and you guys see like the role was posted on the LinkedIn job board for like 37 minutes ago. It already has like over 100 applicants. By the time you're done customizing, that role's already gone. So it's just like the girl that's like, oh, I'm going to talk to her. Like, no, just go now because you're going to lose it anyways, dude. Just go right now. Fire that thing. So another tip that I've had, take this tip down. I've made everybody download link. I don't know why people don't have LinkedIn on their phone, but have LinkedIn on your phone. And the most important thing about LinkedIn is also just going ahead under jobs, set up an alert that's on and you can upload your resume you can have your resume uploaded to your phone on the LinkedIn app. If you guys see that thing come up and you guys are out for drinks, because most of these roles are being posted between 7 p.m. Look at the time that we're hosting it right now. I mean, I'm in Asia, but that thing was just posted up 1 minute ago, and we're showing you guys the live ticker, right? If you see that thing up, fire that thing away. Fire that thing away. You're out there grabbing drinks, waiting for your Uber on the freaking train in New York. Hit that thing. There's also another good, it's probably a decent role here. I've seen like I'm not tooting my own horn, but all the Chinese founders, they've been killing it. These guys have been killing it. I don't know if this is like coming straight from the CCP, but they've been killing it in terms of hiring, right? So I think the other thing that I also want to tell people is like, don't go for like the brand name. Go for like the where the founders posting because they have money and that's what you want. You want to go for the jobs where they're getting money. Like 11 years ago, like the first time I heard of Airbnb was when, my fraternity brothers were telling me like this one guy told me him and his girlfriend got an Airbnb. And I remember I was like, what's Airbnb? And then they're like, oh yeah, it's like this. And then like there were some people that was interning there and at Lyft and all that time. And then I was just like, you want to go for the companies in this market where they have already validated they have like a very good chance of having a proven business model because so many of the established companies why they're doing layoffs is because they haven't figured out product market fit in this market. So all the things that they did worked back in like 2015, 16, 18. Oh, the year I became a millionaire. 19, 20, 2021, 3x revenue, baby. But like then the market shifted and it's just like what we're doing is not working and the money's not coming up in fast enough for us to pay the people. And it's just layoffs, 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 right? So I want you guys to think BlackBerry, Nokia, like Tinder, they were hot at this one time. Cybersecurity right now is a really hot niche. You want to know what I think about? The first thing I think about cybersecurity, Norton Antivirus. Anybody talking about that company now? So like people are going for like all these like name brands that were hot at one point, but it's like, why do you think they're constantly doing layoffs? Why do you think they're constantly doubling down and tripling down on AI? Is because those revenue models ain't revenue working right now. Mark Zuckerberg bought Instagram because he knew people born after 1993 was not going to use Facebook. He didn't want to go down the same route MySpace did. It's like, yeah, it's like he was smart in that sense. He's like, That's why he tried to buy Snapchat too. He couldn't buy Snapchat, so he had to buy the next best thing, right? He's like, no, there's gonna be a shelf life. Like at some point, this nightclub's not gonna be hot. Like we gotta pivot. And they're like, oh, we need to make Facebook more hot. And they're like, no, 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 no. We need to get the next thing. So a lot of these companies where I notice, like I'm always like posting up for a company like Palantir and stuff. This is actually why like watch all of my like market update videos. But the things that I've been actually telling people how to gun for is go for companies like this. Have you guys ever heard of Oklo? Okay, this is actually why being part of the main program has its advantages because they get access to me faster, right? So Oklo is a nuclear power company, and you know who Oklo is backed up by? I'll go ahead and show you guys this right now. So Oklo, if you go to their website right now, okay, their chairman is, let's take a look at board here. Sam Altman. So I'm sure you guys have all heard of Sam Altman, right? So here's the next big thing. This is actually where like we're gearing towards like a lot of our job hunting. Big tech, nuclear energy. Why Microsoft, Amazon, Meta are all betting big on nuclear energy because AI requires a lot of energy and they've exhausted all clean forms of energy and now they're all betting on nuclear. And they all basically grab like a nuclear company as kind of like their thing. So on my last call, I talked about like Sam Altman and he was Oklo, and then you'll have that. Like Sam Altman back signs like power agreement with Data Operating Center, right? And you know who like they're like, but isn't the US against nuclear energy? No, because if you take a look at Department of Energy, secretary is Chris White. Have you guys heard of who Chris White is? Anybody here know who Chris White is? All right. So I'll tell you who this guy here is right now. Fossil fuel CEO Chris White is now the energy secretary. If you take a look at Oklo and whatchamacallit, Chris Wright. Oklo announces a board transition following Chris White. He's the energy secretary. So everything that they've needed to do has just been approved by this guy. So they're like, you know, Oklo is starting like a new nuclear reactor in Idaho. We got it approved in 48 hours. You want to know why? Because my college drinking buddy's dad is now the Secretary of Energy, who also happens to be on my board, which makes life very convenient. So if you take a look at like Trump's board right now, I did a video. This guy, I'd be laughing too if I was him. But if you take a look at Trump's board right now, half of those guys are from the PayPal mafia. Like I did a video called like how Silicon Valley went MAGA. All their companies printed and they're dumping huge amounts of money. Like all these AI startups that people's never heard of. I was like, you got like the other thing is look at gunning this game smarter, not harder. The number one thing that tech companies fight against is not innovation, it's regulation. If you're spending more time in court, you're not building a shipping product. So right, so that's the thing. These guys are freaking smart. That's why, like you know, they're there. You know, but like, what these guys have realized is, you know what? Goldman Sachs has had a guy in the White House for every presidential administration since the Cold War. Why don't we have our own people in there? So they've been pushing in there hard. Why do you think Elon's in there? Elon has defunded every agency. He's defunded all 31 agencies that has launched a federal investigation underneath him, and he has replaced those federal contracts with his own companies. So yeah, Tesla, SpaceX, great companies for you to go ahead and apply, right? But more importantly, the companies that and the startups that they're investing in, those are the best companies to be in. So despite the fact that like, oh shit, my resume is not getting me interviews. Okay, we need to do LinkedIn. Okay, my LinkedIn's getting me the interviews. I'm great for the job, but the job changes. all right, I got to go ahead and show that I'm a very versatile candidate and I can be your friend and I can be your therapist and you'd like to grab drinks with me. Despite all that shit, the last thing is you still got to be with a company that's actually printing cash. This is actually how we've been able to go ahead and get our people offers after offers after offers after offers. You want to know who's Venmo backed up by PayPal? You want to know who's PayPal backed up by? Huh? Guess what? One of the guys from every guy from the PayPal mafia, half of these guys right now, they're in Trump's office, you know, because just like you know, the group of like Chinese and Korean F boys that I grew up with between LA and New York, how we all got each other up. You don't go at it alone, right? You got to compete in teams right now, you know. Like I came from a history major. That was a party major with a film minor. The only reason why I didn't major in film studies was like my parents threatened to disown me. That was it, right? And like I don't have like a finance or econ background. I'm being told this all through my group chat. Like they're all like Palantir owned by Peter Thiel. Elon Musk, you guys already know that he's already printing. LinkedIn, they were a part of the PayPal mafia. David Sachs, he's currently the AI and the crypto czar for the Trump cabinet. All those guys from the All In podcast, they went MAGA pretty quickly because if it's between your wallet and your heart, it don't matter. The wallet almost always wins, you know. So like all these different companies I hear, they're actually some of the best companies to actually be a part of, like self-driving cars. Um, all these companies actually basically they pulled massive, 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 massive government contracts. You know, it's actually how they're paying these guys. They're defunding the government. Take that money around. You know, call up one of my, old college roommates and be like, yo. So yeah, that's what they realized. They're like, we're gonna spend half the time in legal fees getting hauled into the White House. That's why like Silicon Valley just went MAGA. They're just like, yo, we just want to print cash. How do we do it? So you guys also have to like that's also like another consideration for you guys to go out there and have. So I'll get you guys the resume template. I mean, I'll go out there and help you guys in any way that I can, but just understand this that you're gonna have to go out there and apply. You're gonna have to go out there and do a lot more reach outs. You're gonna have to go out there and do a lot more follow-ups. Your branding right now and your positioning is more of like there's already a bunch of people that are fully qualified to do the job. The reason why you're not hiring them is because you're just not excited about them. And that kind of just goes to tell me like you need somebody more than just a product manager. You need like a friend. Chances are your boyfriend or your girlfriend's probably not working right now. How did you know? Like one of the best LinkedIn messages, I'll give you guys another tip. One of the best LinkedIn messages that we've actually been using the last month and a half that's been getting our people like 14, 25 interviews a week is, are you going skiing or snowboarding this weekend? And people have been responding like, no, because I got to work on this go-to marketing strat. So like there's that aspect of the game, right? So and I'm giving you guys all these highlights because I not only want you guys to get like I don't want you guys to just get offers and just end up back over here. Because I saw people that got laid off repeatedly since 2022 that enrolled and then they got laid off again. It was through no fault of their own. And I was just like, if you're not with like one of these companies, unfortunately, you just have to keep on job hunting. I have a lot of people that are just constantly job hunting, 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 hunting. And you have to go out there and also have like the empathy that a lot of people are just not going to take action, which I find is an advantage. We're live right now on my freaking iPhone, and people have been watching us for 51 days, help people get jobs, and they're still not taking action on it. Just kind of the same reason why, like, I have 23 Slack messages I have not gotten back yet. And these are people I pay. So bandwidth is at an all-time low, right? Like, I would not be this transparent with my program back in like 2019, but just to go ahead and prove a point with people. Because like before, I would have been like, we're not trying to show our competitors what we're doing here. But before, I'm just like, but now it's just like, they're not even doing it. My competitors have been watching this for the last 2.5 years, and they're not even doing it. So I think like that's also like the other thing that people just really need to be cognizant of is like bandwidth is at such an all-time low. So the next coaching call that I'm going to do with you guys is actually going to be called how to go ahead and hook your product manager interviewers on. And I'll have like additional resources, but I'm going to create a script where you have to keep on keeping them hooked onto you. And that's the way that they'll actually remember you. But it's a very similar format to how we create our YouTube videos. But like you have to go ahead and grab attention and understand that their attention is very fickle. So if you're not in front of them all the time, they're just going to go ahead and forget about you because there's just too many candidates. And I think some of you here are more as senior enough where you've been on the hiring side. A lot of these people, you forget them as soon as the interview's over, even though like they were like in front of your face. It's sad to say, but it's true. That's also the other thing about me is I just keep it a lot more real than all the other product manager coaches where it's just like, oh, you got to stay positive. I'm like, what the hell is that going to do? You're either going in there taking a job or you're not. So like staying positive is like that's what people that sounds like a losing game plan to me, right? So now that you guys have all this context, yeah, like I hopefully like when you guys are going into that interview, questions for you guys to mark down. This call is going to be uploaded, by the way, too, on YouTube. And by tomorrow afternoon, is you can't come out with the same questions anymore. You have to ask them, questions that's gotten our people jobs has been this, like, what was it about my resume that stood out to you so much that prompted you to schedule a call with me? Because I understand you're very busy right now. What is my product market fit? Because you have to remind them because they forgot. Like, there's nothing but talent out in the marketplace right now. There's nothing but talent. And yet, you guys still haven't hired somebody yet. And I imagine the last thing you enjoy doing is seeing on your calendar invite on your Google Calendar, talking to Kevin at 2:30 on Wednesday, right? Like, why hasn't this role been filled? The other thing that you always have to start off with that question because the memory loss. That's why I always start off with a lot of context so people understand like what kind of customer they're dealing with. Like when you saw my resume, you're like, I'm gonna talk to this person. And by the time I make it to your front door, you forgot about me. So like what was it about me that like you have to remind them of that? The second question that you have to ask is, so I like to go ahead and make sure that I'm the right product manager for every company that I'm interviewing with. And I like to get as much context over the role because I understand that every minute this role isn't filled, you are doing the work that's not worth your time. And if there's somebody else that's a better fit, based upon what you tell me, I would like to recommend one of my other friends instead. And this is actually another huge advantage in being part of the main program is that when I'm on a call with you, I'm always wrestling with the opportunity cost that I should be talking to somebody else, that you're probably a dud. You're probably not going to be a good fit. Right? You're like, oh, should I just do this thing myself? That's the wrestling. So you want to immediately help them relax and let them know this. If I'm not the right fit, you still have a problem. And you are going to be doing all that work, which is stopping you from living your best life. Or you doing work that only you can do. 70% of what product managers do is not worth their time. It's a fact. For anybody else that's watching, I'm sorry, kids. I'm going to tell you this is the real world right now. There's no rate my professor in this racket, on this side of the fence, So like, when we hang up this phone call, yes, I have a problem where I still need to get a job, but it's not even focused on. The bigger problem is you have to go back to doing work that's not worth your time. And that's sucking your energy and draining your soul. And you'd rather be skiing and snowboarding this weekend. 100%. So like you're gonna have to go back there and like flip what an hour, 2 hours of resumes because like with the amount of talent on there, honestly, roles should be filled within 24 hours. You can take your pick. So I would like to recommend somebody I know in my network. It's like, so they feel like, okay, if Annalise is not the person for me, if Kel's not the person for me, at the very least now, I'm not feeling more aggravated either doing more work or like when they go back and source resumes, do you think they're feeling pumped up about that? 100% no. They're like, oh, I might as well just do this myself. And then when they're doing the work, they're just like, oh, I don't have another product manager. So they're feeling pissed off from both sides. Like when you're burnt out and everything just ticks you off, you're ready to like, you're at Trader Joe's and you're ready to fight that lady at the chicken thigh aisle, right? Like everything is just pissing you off, right? That's exactly how you want them to immediately feel relaxed because you could be the most perfect product manager, but if their bandwidth is like, I'd rather be skiing and snowboarding, oh, I can't believe my boyfriend, that deadbeat, still hasn't have a job yet. That guy's gonna have to get a job or he's gonna have to go, And it's like, oh, the recruiter is such a loser. And then, my CEO's pinging on me. He's like, yo, so we got the call with the investors tonight. But they're in Dubai right now. So can you hop on the phone at 9:30? Why am I working on off hours when I'm already working every weekend, right? So you want to immediately, you need to position themselves at least in the mind space where they can at least freaking hear what it is that you have to say. Because a lot of times people will be like, I give this really good, but if they're like they got 5 to 8 things that's freaking blowing them up, driving them effing crazy. Do you think what they're gonna be relaxed? Like if I'm going to a PTA meeting and I just got done meeting my divorce attorney, do you honestly think I have the bandwidth to hear like, so Johnny hasn't submitted his homework in the past 2 weeks? Well, then make sure he does it in class. What's recess for? Come on. I drove across town for this shit. Like if they don't have the bandwidth to listen to you, they're not going to freaking listen to you. Right. And then the other thing here is like, you also want to go ahead and ask them, where has everybody been falling short? You don't have shortage of candidates. You're getting blown up. Your inbox right now is on fire. It's redder than Rudolph's nose, and you're nowhere closer. Oh shit, dude, you're nowhere closer to finding your next product manager than you were a month ago. Clearly, I know you probably love interviewing as much as I do. So where's the disconnect, right? And it's just like when people talk about things that they don't like, this is a common mistake. People are like, what kind of product manager do you want? What kind of product manager do you need? How can I be a better product manager for you? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Right? It's like, what do you hate about your life? Where's everybody falling short? Where's the disconnect? It's like, I'll tell you where the fucking disconnect is. These motherfuckers, like, you gotta analyze the question.
Yeah, there's my voice.
There you go.
Um, so I reached out actually to some recruiters and asked them basically to that point, they reposted a job and within like a day, well, less than a day, like probably within an hour, they had 100 people applied to that reposted position. So I did send messages out to the recruiters who were connected to those roles, and I asked them basically like what was missing from the past candidates that interviewed in the first pool or the previous pool when it was posted. And I had one recruiter message me back and said, I'm not able to share that information with you, which
Oh,
I thought was really interesting because why would they try to gatekeep that information?
they're
Like,
not trying to gatekeep that information as a recruiter. What they're trying to do is gatekeep that. Like you're asking the wrong person because the recruiter doesn't give a shit. The recruiter is the lowest paid employee in the entire tech food ring. So asking them to care, like they're like, why don't recruiters give feedback? Because they don't give a shit. They're not getting paid enough for doing the shitty job that they're doing right now. You think they're going to try to do a better job of the shitty job that they got, especially knowing that AI is going to automate them out? You see, this is the part where I got to call out product managers like, yo, you guys talk about end user empathy and being customer centric. That's your number one customer right there as a recruiter. You can get a recruiter on your side. I mean, you pretty much get the job because they'll go out there and spill the whole beans to you. This is a highly disgruntled, undervalued, underappreciated, and overworked employee. So like if you guys come at it in a more human aspect of it, you guys are gonna go out there and get it, right? But like asking them, I'd say like these questions where they actually feel like if they feel like it's a good therapy session, you guys are gonna get it. So with the time that I have left, I'm gonna quickly go over people's resume. I'm gonna hide the contact information portion of it. But I am having actually reviewed that, whatchamacallit. Uh okay, one thing that I want everybody to go ahead and quickly do is everybody pop in their LinkedIn handle onto the group chat. And I want everybody to connect with everybody here. Uh okay. Everybody connect. And then for all of your skills and endorsements on the bottom, I want everybody to endorse everybody. Everybody to endorse everybody. Just go down that freaking checklist. It's going to help you rack up the algorithm, which is also another advantage. 100%. So, Kel was the first one to come through. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to go through this in a chronological order. Oh man, this is gonna be so fun. Nah. Okay, so I got messaged. So I got Piyush, I got Annalisa, and I also got Kel. So I have Kel's up. Next person I'm gonna have up is I'm gonna have Annalisa. That was the second person that got their info over to me. Okay, and then I'm gonna also have and I also have Piyush. Yo. All right. This group is Rockstar because you guys all watch the instructions. I had this one other call. I was just like, yo, you got to pull that amateur crap out of here. So I will not allow it. Not on my watch. This guy I was like, I live in Korea now. I can say whatever I want. You understand that? All right. So first runner up, Kel. Okay. So I'm gonna go out there and give you guys some tips. Hey, everybody should go out there and actually take note of this. Number one thing is actually 10 years of experience. Let's go ahead and change 10 years of experience and actually make it into 6+. Anytime we have a number over 6, we deem that as old, and it's not ageism, it's price. People think that you're too expensive. So we want to go ahead and remove that. Expertise in product development, cross-functional leadership, launching customer-centric platforms in digital marketing, e-commerce, and content creator economy. We need to talk. Content creator economy. Always love content creator economy. Passionate about enhancing like user experience. Very good. Skills. Fantastic. You followed the instructions very well. In the skills chart, if you guys are missing anything, you guys want to go ahead and include as many application buzzwords as possible. So things like Figma, Miro, Optimizely, Asana, Atlassian, Confluence. Those are always things that click into ChatGPT, see what other buzzwords that you guys can throw in there, throw them in there. Now, let's go ahead and talk about your director level position right now. For your director level position, so first things first is you're not here anymore. What are you targeting in terms of salary?
Um, at least 200.
Okay, at least 200, right? Okay.
Yes.
So if you're targeting 200, I would. So do you care if it's a director role or a product manager role, or do you care more that it's going to be 200?
Yeah, I don't really care about the title.
Okay.
I mean, I do, but in this economy, yeah, PM's
Okay.
fine.
Okay. So I recommend that you basically have two versions of your resume. One where you call yourself a director of product, not senior, but director of product for the product leadership roles. Like the one role that I just showed on LinkedIn where they're looking for like a director or head of product, you definitely want to be using your resume with director and head of for those types of roles. And then for general product manager roles, you just want to go ahead and just use product manager. You just want to go ahead and use product manager. And the reason for that is like you don't want to show that you are too expensive because the biggest barrier between you getting the number that you want is actually talking to the hiring team. If the recruiter is gatekeeping you because they feel like you're over budget, then like you're not talking to members of the hiring team. So we want to get past the recruiter. So salary questions is always like market rate. Okay, what's market rate to you? What do you guys have budgeted for the role? Like 140. Perfect. That's actually within my range. Because if once you get past the recruiter, if there's real value, the product manager, the hiring team will actually say, like, we want this guy or we want this girl. Let's just get them on there. But the recruiter is always going to try to gatekeep you at a certain number because the only thing that a recruiter has to live for is their bonus. So, however much money they save a company in a given year, that's their bonus. So, you're asking them to like that's their, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, milk and cookies money, right? So that conversation becomes personal and quite hostile very quickly. So for regular product manager roles, go for like have like a product manager title. And I would recommend that you just have like product manager or senior product manager and then product manager or senior product manager here. But for like leadership roles, you definitely want to go ahead and flex that you actually have that leadership background with a leadership title. Okay. In terms of like your resume bullets, overall, all of this is like looking like really good. The only thing that I would just be a stickler a part of is just basically bullet alignment. So you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here, and then you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would just keep it as like 5, 5, 5, or like 7 bullets is definitely too much. 6 bullets is optimal, but maybe like or 6, 6, 5 or 6, 6, 4, and recycle some of those bullets. Um, Other than that, very good on the resume part. One thing that I had stressed out on the Airtable, which is in the curriculum in school, is like making sure that you have the time frame, which you've done well. Like 15% increase within a 3-month period. Wherever it is that you can actually add hard metrics, okay? Wherever it is that you can actually add hard metrics, like increase users from like 2,000 users to like 7,000 users, right? Like I actually tell people to try to move away from bullets, from percentages as much as possible because percentages are very subjective. Like 20% of what? If they have to ask for it, you're already putting yourself at a disadvantage because somebody else that's coming out from that's competing against you, that's watching my content, if they have like very hard numbers, this person here, I have to ask you one more question to find out what the number is. This other person here, I don't have to ask that, right? Because I also have to pitch you. Remember, why all of this context, Rich? Why did I marinate you guys like a slab of Korean beef? Is because this head of products burnt out AF. So I gotta pitch you to the hiring manager. So just because I think you're a good fit, it doesn't mean that I'm gonna be able to get you an interview, right? I have to now go ahead and talk to you about the hiring manager. And the hiring manager might just be what? Like, okay, tell me about this guy named Kel. Uh, okay, so like give me like, okay, well, he increased, like he drove 15% increase. 15% of what? You got to think about like you literally have to like visualize like Lloyd pitching Ari Gold on a script, and then Ari Gold now's got to pitch that script to Vinny Chase. Like, yo, like I want you to do another superhero. No, 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 no. It gets better though. James Cameron's directing. Well, that completely changes like the pitch of the movie. Question: Did you have one? You look like you did.
Wait, sorry. What did I have?
Oh, did you have a question? It looked like you were going to ask me
Oh,
one.
no, no, sorry.
Okay,
No, go
good.
ahead.
Okay. So like all that stuff is like great. So if you, I mean, especially like since you're in such a social field like paid ad analytics, wherever and at some point you just have to use this resume, but something I advise for all people's resumes is like keep on adding and keep on refining it. Even all the people that have landed jobs in my program, I tell them like we do this thing like once a month where it's just like, what did you guys do in the last 30 days? Like keep adding to a backlog. The very bottom of your resume when you get out of here is like should be like a list of all this other shit that you've done. So it's not like if you're gonna get laid off. This is a business where like it's when you're gonna get laid off. You have a resume that's ready to go. So keep on adding to it, keep on adding to it, keep on adding to it. The director of product for the Neptune retail, same thing too. I would say all the bullets are looking great, but more of this is like more specific in terms of like the metrics because they gotta pitch, you gotta, your job, forget the second that there's a good chance the recruiter's an asshole, understandably why. You gotta make it easier for the recruiter to pitch you in a sea of candidates that like is trying to hijack attention from this guy or girl that'd rather be skiing or snowboarding right now. That's like probably just got done. You know why, like, people ask me, like, are you really up at like 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning, Rich? I'm like, yeah, because you want to know that's when I'm doing most of my deep work, because that's when nobody's blowing you up. A lot of people are working like really late. So you also like they have lack of sleep, unless you're like me. I know how much I work and how much I print in terms of cash. So it's different. If you're working for somebody else, you're just feeling pissed off all the time, right? So like more specific in the metrics. And the reason for that is somebody else that has easier metrics when I moved from California to New York, the biggest difference was this. Like in LA, it was just like, oh my gosh, welcome. Like, hey, well, welcome to the neighborhood. Like, I go back there 2 weeks later, the apartment's still there. New York, it's just like, are you ready to put money down like right now? So when I pitched leasing agents in like New York, I had like my W-2s already screenshotted, my pay stubs ready to go, my bank statements ready to go, a screenshot of my credit score, times that I was available. Like, it's me, I love golden retrievers, blah, 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 blah. This is my Instagram handle of like I was going first place. Every single question that they were ready to ask, I already had that shit ready to go. And then you're like in the social game I'm in, I'm teaching product managers how to be influencers right now too. Like we just talked about a product manager that just got to deal with Dove soap. I was like, you need to have your metrics. Like, yeah, exactly. Like the influencer call people is like it happens like 2 hours before this. But like anyways, like you need to have your metrics ready to go. Who is my target demographic? Who are the people watching my videos? How much returning traffic do I have? What are their ages? What are their ethnicities? Like where are they geographically located in the world? This is actually how you're getting a better brand deal for like a soap or like one of the girls got like a deal with like Fall Raven, the backpack company from like Europe, right? Like you need to if they have to ask you those questions, the fact that you're coming in here that much more on point also differentiates you from the market because it's just like I'm thinking like this person here has like sense. Like I'm getting like I have all this information that I want to know. They already have that shit up front versus somebody else I have to get it out of. So that just means like if I'm working with this person, if I'm working with Kel versus Annalisa that has all these metrics down, I'm probably like, I'd much rather work with her because she's coming to me with information versus me having to go to her for information, right? So these are all little subtleties that they're thinking of because why? Because they're overworked. So like that's something you should keep in mind of. This one here, the only thing that I would say in terms of whether or not to keep it or not keep it is anything that's beyond 5 years is not relevant on your resume. Because I was also at a very different market, but also it's not like you usually don't put anything beyond 5 years. Granted, you should have at least 3 positions. So this one here tailed in at like 2020. So you should have at least 3 positions on your resume. But this one here, not a deal breaker. You can keep it, doesn't matter. You can take it off, also doesn't matter. Questions?
No, that's all good feedback. I like the details about avoiding percentages and getting more into the weeds about the actual metrics so they don't have to
No,
try to decipher everything. So that's good. Um, yeah,
I know,
thank you.
right? I mean, how did you find this product management resume review versus product school?
Um, so their approach is a little bit different. They want you to like tailor every single resume to each application.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I know. I used to run the New York campus. I was like, not only does that
That's a
not make
waste of time.
yeah,
it's the biggest waste of time because the role's already gone. Like, like what am I gonna do? Like that's like telling a soldier in Iraq, like every time you fire your weapon, you got to clean it out there. Like, I mean, if I did that, I would have been shot already. Like,
yeah.
like, in this market, You know, like the roles that I just posted up, I added it into the chat. Like that one that just got posted up a minute ago. See how many people just blew up that guy. And you're telling me, even with ChatGPT, not feasible. 100% not feasible. I'm gonna give you some quick tips on your LinkedIn, and my intention is as we're going through this, you guys also make these updates too. Have some kind of like, I would say like more like have a picture of the Amalfi Coast on here in the backdrop, right? That's something that you want to like keep in mind of. Product Gym Full program, Product Gym Full program. Andrew Sao and Richard Fleming, they both came through from our program. Um, but like the other thing here is this is another little stickler that I'm going to add in here. If you're going to add to present on your LinkedIn, you really should be adding to present on your resume. It's in this market, like nobody really cares because everybody knows it's raining cats and dogs out there. But the consistency of it is like it irks some recruiters. So if it's whatever you have in terms of like dates and titles and timelines, it has to be aligned. Um, and then product management and product marketing at the very top. Everybody endorse everybody for the thing. Also, go ahead and make sure you connect with me, Mr. Kel,
Yeah.
because my invite is still pending. uh,
Oh, not bad.
no worries. Whatchamacallit? Okay, so we have Kel's there. Let's take a look at this. Annalisa. Again, we're not showing the contact info, but very good here. Very, very good here. I actually took a look at this like within when time that you sent to me. The 7 to 10 business days, that's hot. Because people want things fast right now. You
Yep.
know, we don't have like people want to know like you can move quickly, you know. So total sales from that's hot. That's totally hot. Um, yo, this is looking Gucci. Let me go ahead and take a look at.
I did go through the all the videos,
There
that
we go.
series.
You watched the LinkedIn. You did.
Yeah,
You
there's
watched
the ocean view.
the ocean view, man. People love the ocean, yo.
Who wouldn't want to go there or just sit there and look at it?
Alfie Coast, man. Anybody that's got this open to work sign, please go ahead and take it off. That's just like
Oh yeah, I agree.
it's not helping anybody, it's not doing anybody any favors. Okay, this one here is looking Gucci. I'm just gonna endorse you for these two right here. Everybody endorse everybody. Okay, good. Um,
The funny thing is that when I went through my LinkedIn profile, I had stuff from when I first created my LinkedIn. So things like when I interned in high school, like art related stuff. It was still on there, but I went through and I cleaned it up on my LinkedIn so it
versus
matched.
okay. This one here is good. Let me just take a look at LinkedIn. Same thing, man. Let's change it with the water. People like water. I had a guy shoot up, racked up like 39 round ones just because he changed his photo from the desert. No, changed it from like Midtown New York to like a beach in Thailand. And people were like, does it really? I was like, well, look at the numbers. You can't make this shit up. I've been logging in every single call. I was like, you think like that's the last thing I want to look at right now is freaking like Midtown, right? Um,
I
okay.
love Golden Gate though.
Yeah, man. People that live in San Francisco don't even want to live in San Francisco, man. I'm sorry. You came to San Francisco at the wrong time. Like if you came like 2015 and 16 at the height of the golden age, it was a very different city. Now it's just like homeless central. And it showed in the last election when people were like, this nonsense has got to stop. But product manager, I would say open a like I would take all this stuff off and just have like product manager. Because like they're not reading all of it. It looks too cluttered. Uh, it's way too cluttered. And then I would have, let me see here. If you're gonna call yourself product manager here, don't call yourself intern. If they ask about it, you should say intern. But the problem with interns is that this is the thing. I also get like so much hate comment off of this. It's like, oh, but like it was like people don't want to hire interns because it's like it's risky. It's like because you get so many kids that are like, yeah, can I grab you like after lunch? Like, so I don't really want to be a product manager. Like I was wondering if I like people like they're like, but that's not me. I was like, yeah, but that's the last 8 out of 10 people. And they don't care about you. They care about them. And they care about doing work they don't want to do. And they hate training people to do work they thought they didn't have to do again, just to do it all over again. So when I put it that way, and they're like, well, I didn't think about thinking about what people want, that's the job, bro. I don't know what to tell you. So like the way that I tell people is like you got to think about like I was like the reason why Product Gym is successful is because we're constantly thinking about the customer. We spend all day thinking about the customer, right? Like these people are your customers. So internship, risky. It's just like, oh no. Because they're all thinking about how much work this is going to be for me and how much they don't want to do work because they're not getting paid enough to do the work they don't want to do. And they'd rather not be doing anything. You want to know the average age of the head or director of product is about late 30s to like early mid 40s. They thought they were going to sell that, be a part of an acquisition and get paid to give TED Talks at Stanford right now. Clearly, like a lot of us on this call, life has not worked out the way they intended. And are they, yeah, they pissed off AF, you know? So, like, why do you think I became a career coach? My boss was like, I was like, what do you think I should do in my recruiting career? He's like, leave it, kid. Get out of it while you still can. It's too late for me, but you still got a chance. You know? It's just like, don't turn back. Right. Yeah, so I graduated with a history major and a film minor, and I was just like, my history professor was like, I was like, yo, you think I should become a history professor? Don't do that shit. He was like, if I find out you try to get your PhD to become a history professor, I will kill you. I will effing kill you. You have a shot.
I was
So
going to study history, but there's no future in it.
People that study the past don't really have a future, right? Because you're stuck in the past. You know. Kel, question.
Yeah, so you know how you mentioned that I should have two different versions of my resume with different titles.
Yeah.
What should I do about my LinkedIn for consistency?
I mean, just have your LinkedIn for your LinkedIn. I would just have like, product manager on there because it just opens you up to like more roles. Because a lot of times, like this is actually what has gotten a lot of directors in my program a job is because like they like um they just call themselves a product manager and then all of a sudden they get opened up to so many more roles. And if you're targeting the kind of companies that are getting funding out there, which are the ones printing the most, paying out the highest rates instead of I was like, like applying to companies that are doing layoffs is just running into a house that's freaking on fire. There's no future in that. And they're all dumping, like, where do you think they're all dumping their money in? They're dumping their money into crypto, AI, and nuclear energy. So those are like you want to get into the emerging fields and basically ride that wave, right? That's why like we jumped in headfirst in cybersecurity. Like North Korea, they just robbed another $1.2 billion in crypto from some dude in Dubai. It's it's like great. It's like the market's hiring a lot of cybersecurity people right now, right? So that's why we got into the cybersecurity business. And people are like, why aren't you guys just doing product management anymore? Because I'm Chinese and I love money. And most product managers I know is laid off. And I'd rather go ahead and be riding the next gravy train, dude, because I enjoy cash and what it allows me to do. Yeah, it was like, okay. I was like, sorry to keep it that real, but you have to be, you know. Mr. Piyush, I have you here. Voila. Okay, great. Um, that one here I would keep. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Eight's definitely too much. I would just keep it down to 6. Um, you got some really good metrics in here. But this is actually where this is actually the part where like I got to go up there and tell you to go tone it down. So then people are like, Rich, what do you want, man? It's like, no, I'm just telling you. Because when they see 25 million to 100 million, then they're going to be wondering, well, why are you applying to jobs? You know? So like when you have metrics that are too good, that's when people get too skeptical. You know? This is why like I started live recording all of my calls because we were getting people into like we got Amazon, American Express, Pfizer, Nike, Yum Brands, Citibank all last week. And I was just like, I'm just putting it all out there now. So people just don't even have to think about why they're dropping $7,000 cash money. Because like when they see like 25 million to 100 million, if they start looking at that, they're gonna be wondering like, are those metrics even real? The other thing here is like, so like you can keep it on there, but I think like AAR of 5 million, that's great. Co-funding 1.5 million, that's great. But I'd say like 20 million right here, that's great. But 25 to 100 million, man, they're gonna really want to know about that. Like 10 million across like all platforms right here. That one I think is like very believable. Uh I have all that stuff out there. And then the next thing here is let's go out there and take a look at this. Got it. No woods, man, water. This is where people go to commit suicide. Hmm. Product manager, not chief growth officer. Probably want to call yourself product manager. Now, another thing that I just noticed here, talked about resume LinkedIn consistency. If oh, so this was actually another role. Okay, so this right here, I don't know if it's because of the formatting, because I'm opening it up on my Gmail, but we gotta go ahead and actually have this in bullet form because this is like a summary actually. Uh, so like, because this is like in the bullets and this is also like in bullets. I thought I misread this part, but we gotta have at least the consistency in the resume format. But other than that, Wharton MBA. Okay, product management, product marketing, always on top. Helps with the algorithm. Okay. Yeah. And for those of you who are watching this, that I didn't get the message. I cleared out my inbox. Uh, please join me in school. Okay. Any other like I have 5 more minutes left for you guys before my next offer call, but the product gym main program is 7K. For people that want to go ahead and do it, we have payment plans starting at $150 to $200 a month. It's we're hosting 4 coaching calls there instead of just one. I think you guys already saw how much value you guys just got from this one. And people are turning around 3 to 5 product manager offers, anywhere between 200 to 300K, averaging about 15 to 25 interviews a week within about 90 to 120 days. And we are doing a price increase to 12,500 because off of that. 0% interest, no. That's with interest. But what we're gonna do here is I gotta answer to a lender too. So basically you pay us and then the lender you make the 2 to 3 payments with us and then we just move that note over to a nice lender friend of ours. And they basically just take it over and you just go ahead and you pay them. But good news about Product Gym main program is that you guys get lifetime access. So the people that have been repeatedly laid off, we actually have like lifetime access for them. And honestly, I'd say like the other main difference is that like with the Product Gym main program, we're creating like we're not trying to help people land product manager jobs. I mean, we do, but like the main thing is to help people launch a product management brand. Because like the thing is like the layoff situation has gotten more serious in the last 2.5 years. And what I've noticed is the product managers with the brands, they have not gotten laid off. They have a much lower risk. So every company across America right now, especially in tech, has a spreadsheet of the next round of people that's getting ready for the layoffs. I know that warms your heart knowing that you're going into that type of work environment. But like it's like I'll tell you guys the columns, right? It's like the name, age, LinkedIn handle, titles, how they got the job, how much we're paying them, what KPIs are they responsible for delivering. And then there's one other column that's called brand. And we've just been in my other call where I've helped the people that have landed jobs. We've been studying people like Chloe Shi, and then we've also been studying like even like the like other types of like cybersecurity influencers. We're kind of critiquing like what kind of videos are they making. Essentially, we're going to show you guys how to launch and monetize off a YouTube channel by promoting each other. So we just like constantly are promoting each other and doing that, even in tech sales. You know, like this guy here, he made a video like I quit tech sales. This is another lady that we actually talked about today's program, where she's a business analyst with Spotify, and people are wondering like, why are these people not getting laid off? And I was like, they're not getting laid off because they have a brand. You're essentially a walking commercial for the business. And that's why even though they talk crap about the companies that they work for, is like they all have this one video. Quitting. I was like, yo, if somebody was taking my W-2 paycheck that I'm shelling out, talk leveraging that logo, I would totally be freaking like I'd totally be really, 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 really pissed off. But like people are doing it, and it's actually had the adverse effect that's actually stopped them from getting laid off less. And the brand aspect of it is we're in an age right now where creators are becoming brands, brands are becoming creators, and companies are trusting like your resume in 2026 is going to be your YouTube channel. We like when we started Product Gym to compete with the bigger guys like Product School, because I had just left Product School at that time. And some of the people were like, yo, weren't you that guy? 100%. But this is a new chef, you know? I was like, if you guys ever need a job again, we'll get you another job for free. They're like, at no additional cost. I'm like, no additional cost. Only problem was we didn't anticipate COVID happening. So so when COVID happened, what we did was like, I was like, holy shit. It was like wave 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there was also COVID layoffs where they're just like, yo, we saw so we were like taking on all these people, but it was like about like the third or the fourth year is about like, so we started in end of 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20. And in 20, this was when we were getting people into like Meta, Spotify, and all these other companies. We had like 3 people at Airbnb. And then all of a sudden the offer letter started coming out like, yeah, we're delaying your start date indefinitely. And I was just like, there. So that's when I was like, always kept like everything like pretty private. That's when I was like, everything up on YouTube, everything up on YouTube, everything up on YouTube. And that kind of shot everybody up. So like when people were landing job, people were getting laid off again in like 2022. This is actually where I felt really bad for people because these were the people that like I used to be degenerates with in New York and in SF. And then they're like, Rich, dude, don't turn your back on us. Like, I got a kid. And I was like, you got a kid now? They're like, yeah. I was like, people that, because we hosted class from like 9:30 until 3:30. People go home, take a nap, and we just rage afterwards, right? And then they're like, yeah, dude, I got a mortgage. And then it's like, all right, all right, all right. So we got to figure it out. And then we helped them get a job in 2022. And then what ended up happening was same shit that I saw. Which was like 2023 layoffs happened again. Like January layoffs has been such a common occurrence that like layoffs that FYI, they're tracking it. So we helped people like this was the batch of people. This was when it was just like, is Product Gym as legit? Product School straight up basically said like if you want, you can buy another program from us. But we were like, I use that thing as a pure marketing play. I was like, we will not leave any of you behind. I am standing here to fight with you on the front lines.
Right on.
Yeah, dude, I had like 3 cell phones up. I was like, my team across both sides of the coast, we are leaving nobody behind. Scheduled this call and like for this dollar amount we got you, but like we're like we show people we're like these are people that landed jobs for us in the past, we're not like leaving them behind, we won't leave you guys behind. And then like yeah, 2022 was the first round, and then we started getting people jobs, And this batch of people came right back in 2023. Now, this was a combination of like 2016, 17, 2018 veterans versus people that also got laid off during that time. So people that were in our program, people that were not, but these were people now with actual PM experience, right? And then we saw that happen like again. And then 20, like same thing, Q1 2020, it was like it kind of tapered off, and then Q1 2024, boom, again. Not as bad as Q1 2023, but a lot of companies like Spotify didn't even wait until Spotify, like December 2023, they didn't even wait, like December 10th, 2023. Everybody thought they were showing up to the office for a Christmas party, and they're like, yeah, this is your last day. And they laid off 17% of their workforce, and by market bell, their share price shot up 7%. Because all my finance bro friends at my New York apartment were like, they heard about that shit, and they went in on it, and it closed at 7%. Like 3 days later, it kind of like died down a little bit, and that's when they sold. But tech companies are financially incentivized. So like it's today's Wednesday morning right now. We're all waiting for the Nvidia earnings report, right? Well, those of us that are playing the market a little bit. It's like you guys saw that meme that we posted, like Jensen Huang and Taylor Swift is literally upholding the world economy. It's not a joke. But like there's a reason why Mark Zuckerberg did the layoffs right now is earnings report. There's been such a huge correlation. Like I've taken like a few econ classes just strictly because as a history major you kind of have to, because wars are kind of closely linked with how bad the economy's doing. But like overall, like we can almost predict right now when the next layoffs are coming based upon like they never really do a layoff right before Davos. Makes them look bad showing up to Switzerland, like, like in a $5,000 Moncler jacket and just landing there private. You don't want to just be like, yo, how'd the massacre go? I just got to wear a waterproof jacket, make sure the blood doesn't stain the Moncler logo. Like, you can't do that, but like, yeah, like a week afterwards, cut. Yeah. But you can almost like time and tape it. So for the main program, we're not trying to help people land product manager jobs, because I was more confident in the COVID market than I am right now. Companies are still hiring for product managers. We're still putting up testimonials. We're getting people into the highest like name brands, but the people that are landing, I'll tell you guys this right now, the people that are landing 200, 250, 300K jobs, they're definitely working a lot more than the people we landed 300K jobs for a few years ago. They are working all day, all night, all weekend. That at some point is unsustainable. So the people that are like we're putting them up, and the reason why they're launching a brand is because they know they don't want to do this like 2 years later. So if you're landing like at 200, 250K, you're working yourself to death. Or you do the 150, 175, where you got to look at, where you feel like you're living paycheck to paycheck, which you freaking are. Because food costs has gone up 9% because oil costs shot up after the Russia-Ukraine invasion. So you got people that are making like 195K. It's very common right now in New York. You're making 195 and you just have roommates. Even though literally it wasn't that long ago. I mean, I graduated school. I'm class of 2014. Like, if you're like, it's like just a thing 10 years ago, shit, like 195 sounds like you're making LeBron James money. Right now, you just feel like you're a Henry. I'm a high earner, not rich yet. So you're not gonna getting rich in product management now is not about working more. It's about launching other offers. So the new way of getting rich in tech, and the younger generation has figured it out. Like when they do a layoff, this video got her so much traction on TikTok. She's effectively not needed to work another job again. And like, again, that's where you want to be, right? So like the new generation right now across like product management, business analysts, cybersecurity, even tech sales, which is the other program that we represent. I can basically tell you guys this right now. The new rate of getting rich is you're a tech professional, you create a brand, you create a course offer, you become a coach, some kind of career coach, you become some kind of freelance consultant, like a product management consultant, cybersecurity consultant, or that's basically B2B. Coaching is B2C. Consulting is like coaching, but B2B level, right? Those are the only things that you can do to actually be part of the new rich. The old way of getting rich for product management was like you're part of an acquisition. Those days are over. So, and I part of my job feels like why do you have the cojones to charge $7,000 for an offer? It's just to basically let you guys know this. Something that hit me why I left recruiting was I saw the guys that were ahead of me 10 years and 15 years, and I didn't want to be there. And my boss telling me, like, get out while you still can, that was my eye opener. Because, like, he's like, yo, you got to plan for your exit, just like how companies have to plan for their exits. If you don't have an exit, you become a BlackBerry or a Nokia, right? Because somebody else is going to come and take you out. That's why, like, when I was there in 2015, that's when the year when, like, Kobe Bryant started his own VC. He said this thing, it kind of just all hit me, and why I decided my own entrepreneur journey was this. He's like, 80% of professional sports athletes go broke within 2 to 3 years because they lose that very liquid source. And I saw product managers coming in at like 50, 51, 45. And I was like, shit. It was like yesterday I was doing my study abroad. And now I'm in the real world. 8 years running product gym went by like that. So like it kind of hit me too, like, you know, going through my third breakup in like New York, and I went back on Hinge, and it was like still the same guys and girls that were on Hinge when I first moved there. I was like, this app is not an app that's designed to be deleted. These the same people when I first moved here from California. It's like the years are gonna go by really quickly, and like the people that I, that were the first generation product gym grads that really put, their testimonials and stuff was effectively like the reason why we were able to get on like USA Today and like put our boot camp like on the map as a bootstrap startup, right? I was like, shit, like if we don't plan for our exit, then like, you're just gonna end up, because tech does not really reward loyalty. Ain't nobody like 2 decades, 3 decades into the field. This is like NFL. This is not for long. You should be, and the younger kids right now, they get it. These people right now, this is like Tiffany in tech. She talked about her journey, I think, going from like fashion to software engineering at a time when nobody advertised that they did a coding or like a tech boot camp. She just put herself out there straight up, racked up the brand. And like a month ago, she was interviewing Jensen Huang in person, So the new way of getting rich, there's like, when people ask me like, is product management dead? Is tech sales dead? Is cybersecurity dead? I was like, no, employment is dead. They're going to have AI come and replace you anyways. Employment is dead. So the incentive for like the product gym main program, and which is what I'm helping, I'm giving this shit all out for free, and I'm helping people become product manager career coaches. So you already know how I'm feeling about the market. I'm in Korea, right? I'm locked in. I know the White Walkers are on the wall. I sold all my shit in New York.
Get out while you still can.
What's that? This is where the market's going, yo. I'm like, I'm like literally like Jon Snow, I'm on Zoom right now running live calls like 6-7 hours a day. Like, the White Walkers are coming. Well, we've got to fight back or it's over. I was like, yo, I'm showing people my whole curriculum. Our business plan right now, we dubbed it in Korea, in Asia. It's called the OnlyFans business model. Our enrollment rate we're like, show them everything. Take off your top, take off your bottom, show them everything. Who we're coaching, where they're getting jobs, show it all. This thing's only gonna be around here for about like shit, another 48, 96 months anyways. So you guys gotta go. These people get it. They're showing it all too. Your biggest moneymaker should be your YouTube channel. And the fastest way to go ahead and rack up a YouTube channel is by cross-promoting. Because all they do is now they just interview each other. That's it. That's it. So like, You guys know how to, I mean, for those of you guys that are not in school, first step is to get into school. I'm going to come help you guys. I feel for everybody here. The next step is come into the Product Gym main program, because we're no longer helping people get product manager jobs. We're helping launch product management brands, because that's what you get. Like what's the loyalty in getting a job just to get like right now, you're constantly getting a job. You're constantly under threat of going back into the office 5 days a week. And you know what people are saying? I'm here. What do we got to do? We're just going to have a staring contest? What are we doing? I'm here. I'm here. I've been in the office the last 5 days or the last 2 weeks, and I can quantifiably say I've been less productive and nothing has gotten done. We're just looking at each other, pretending to go to work. So what are we doing here, Jamie Dimon? I'm here. I mean, I don't have meetings with you. I mean, if I had a meeting with you, I'd definitely be in office for that, right? So you're going back into the office, nothing's getting done. And then what else? What else do you have to live for right now? Oh, AI is going to replace you, right? They're doubling.
Hey, oh,
Right.
sorry, Richard. No, I had to step out to pick up my son, but I was wondering if could you do a quick resume review? I sent it to you.
Oh, I did yours already.
Oh, you did mine. Sorry.
Yeah, I did yours already. I did yours.
Okay.
I give you. Oh, I was like, I thought you were taking notes the whole time. I was wondering why you weren't talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh, no.
It's recorded.
This call is recorded. You can come in at exactly like 1:21. That's when we did it. I remember.
Okay.
But yeah, like your threat under office, you're over, if you're making 250, 300K, you're like overworked to a Rondo Chris. Everybody all the hiring managers, you want to know why? Like I showed you guys, like the Twilio, all these people, you want to know why they reached out to me? Because they're wondering, like, what would he think I should launch a brand? 100%. They don't even want to be in product management anymore, right? So yeah, that's basically it, folks. Like, launch a brand. If you guys want to do the main program, starting at 150 to 200 a month, we'll help get you this job. We'll help launch your brand. I will leverage my brand to promote your own brand. And then you also get me like 4 times a week. Right now, school, you guys only get me 1 time a week. But for the 1 time a week that you guys do give me, I promise you, I give you my everything. My grind is not between you and your wallet. AI is coming for us all. AI is like the White Walkers, dude. It will not care if you're Stark or Lannister. Once that thing develops its own self-consciousness, which I largely suspect it already has, won't fucking matter. We'll just be living the Terminator movie. So rack up the cash. My theory, my philosophy is this: get the cash, rack up the W-2. You're gonna need freaking health insurance. Monetize that entire journey, because people that are making YouTube videos of them transitioning or like on the job hunt, even we had somebody ranting about the job hunt, got them 1 million views on TikTok. It's like, why is nobody getting back to me? Like, that person racked up so many views, like, and you guys are seeing people do it, do that, right? And we've been promoting them, like we'll all share each other's stuff. That's how we've been, like, I was like, we'll compete in teams. And then like print US dollars. My personal philosophy, print US dollars in Asia. Any other questions I can help you guys with? Ray, dude, freaking come and join school. Are you in school already? You keep coming to this shit. Just come and join school already. I'm talking like you even got $87.
Who, me?
Yeah. Are you on school already?
Not yet.
What are you waiting for, man? Jesus, come back, come join school.
I might look into it. I just can't really talk right now because I'm keeping people awake.
No worries, man. Look at all this.
So I did have a question. So I know
Sure.
you mentioned that, people making YouTube videos about how they're ranting about how hard it is getting a job. But I also know you mentioned that you shouldn't post anything like that on LinkedIn as well, because then that's the quickest way to not get a job. So I was
100%.
just curious. Yeah. So I'm just curious, like what resonates more on YouTube and whether or not that's gonna be counterproductive if I post that on YouTube, but then I'm trying to find a job on LinkedIn. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I think what resonates the most is actually going to just be like your authentic experience. But I think like talking about like what's worked out well for us is like talking about like how the hiring team feels, right? Like, a third of the people that you're interviewing with, like legitimately that's a real thing. Like people that work in tech are also dating and married to other people that work in tech. It's not like finance is doing that much better. So like, you know, having that empathy, right? And like hiring managers actually love seeing like that. Like if you feel like the thing that people are going to hire for the most is honestly how they really feel about you, and how they feel about you is largely not dictated by your experience, but how much they actually feel like you care about them. Like when I'm coming onto these calls, people know that like I'm real. I hold nothing back. I'm giving to you guys straight up. I'm a recruiter. I'm the only person that's in this racket that does not have a product manager background. And people know that. And like, but I also have more results than everybody else combined. But like, yeah, like I'm fully transparent. Like people want real, and that's actually been a huge reason for the brand. It takes somebody right now. Google has released a report. I think you've probably seen it. It's called 7-11-4, which is like consumer trust is at an all-time low. And that's actually why like I'm so transparent with like my whole day. I literally get DMs on Instagram that are just like, I don't know how the hell this guy's working like 18 hours a day. Well, number one, I'm working for myself. So effort direct correlates with bank account size, right? It takes 7 hours of hearing something over and over and over again. So even like, you know, this is going to be a YouTube video. People are going to keep on hearing it over and over again. That's what gets people to go out there and enroll more, because right now you not only have an economic recession, you have a trust recession, but beyond everything, you also have a bandwidth recession, right? So let's just say people trust you, people's bandwidth. Like I said, I have 23 Slack messages that I haven't even gotten back to from people that I pay that's on my payroll on my own team. So like, you know, that's how wiped out people are. So like anything that you can do to get them to slow down is great. So having like LinkedIn content out there, instead of ranting about like how bad the job hunt is, like, yeah, like how bad the job hunt is. And then, you know, I remember she turned it around and says, but I understand it's because hiring managers are feeling just the way that I do right now, you know? So like, you know, knowing that, honestly, I'm not even lying here. Everybody on the hiring side feels the same way that you guys do, because nobody's bulletproof. Even with the people who are at companies where they're printing cash, because we're like such a global working, like I'm here right now in Korea. Like I've left New York, you know, I sold my two like Samsung like freaking TVs and like my Herman Miller chair and my whole desk setup, everything, right? Like, like if you're talking about working like in crypto, their entire freaking staff is like freaking global, man. You got everybody from like Dubai to Singapore, right? So like whatever it is that you can do, whatever it is that you can go ahead and do, to go out there and just like kind of show you have a little bit more of that like empathy, that's what's gonna get you the job. That's what's gonna have people resonate with your own brand. And beyond all that, I think you guys just want to get the job as soon as possible for the most amount of money, but also the least amount of bullshit. And you guys are going to get that. But it also takes like, I think the other thing here is just like our mock interview coaching is just so superior. It's not like our coaching program for the main program is not me giving out a bunch of information I've already given out. Is like you got to go ahead and just have that, like getting the mock interview reps with like all these different people with different backgrounds. Like a product manager that came out from a software engineering background is going to talk to you very differently than a product manager that came out from a finance background or MBA background. And you know, if people are assuming, this is why I have people do like anywhere between 15, 25 to 30 some interviews like a week, is because you really need to stretch that muscle of selling yourself. And that's why our people are taking the jobs away from all these other people with more experience. That's that lady that just enrolled right before you guys got on this call. I got on this call with you guys. She's like, she talked to me in December, and I was like, you know how many offers we put up? Like, I put up that screenshot on Skoll. I got a guy a $35,000 pay bump. And he literally said the same thing as like, at the end of the day, that guy's cutting the check. I'm not, right? It's just like, I was like, yo, they got to figure out, if I give you this money, am I going to get what I want? And people only care about getting what they want. You know, like if I give you this money and it turns out I have to do this job myself, and you know, that's why like I was like, tell him I would have this. I know you're really busy throughout the week. I'm more than happy to have this conversation with you on a Saturday morning. You know, what would make you happy? Right. And that call got him an extra 35 G's a year. That's a BMW 3 Series right there. Right? So it's not me giving people like we are practicing. I'm having these people just rehearse these calls over and over again. And $7,000 course attracts $7,000 talent that's willing to go out there and take the course that seriously. Not to say that people in school aren't great, but like it's just people that are just way more serious. And we're doing like sometimes some weeks we're doing like 2 sessions like a day, like one morning session, one evening session. So for the people that are interested in getting it, DM me on LinkedIn or Instagram. I'm freaking live streaming what I'm doing all day, every day. But how you make the person, it's not about what you can do. It's honestly how you make the person feel about you. That's going to be the difference in your salary number. And that's also the difference between people getting laid off and people not getting laid off. A lot of people were kept on the team strictly just for morale purposes. It's like, oh yeah, like you work harder. It's like, why do all those other people get promoted more than you did? It's not why they're pulling in more hours, they're driving more results. Why are you on the chopping block, right? This is what the people, regardless of the market, this is what the people that got promoted faster and made the most amount of cash, but did the least amount of work understood beyond the guy trying to get the next AI or Python certification. It's like, and this is why we all have friends that are job hoppers, and you're wondering, oh, he left his job, but hey, what? How could he? Spotify, that guy hasn't held a job for more than 4 months, like in years, right? He's like, yeah, but they're so good at interviewing because all they're doing is just interviewing all the time. Yeah. You guys want to get it? You guys know how to get in touch with me. Otherwise, we got to go back to the good fight, which is turning Korea into the cybersecurity capital of Asia. All right. Thank you guys all. I appreciate y'all. The next one is going to be how to deliver a killer product manager interview. Yeah. But Kel, if you want to let me know. You want to talk about the full program?
Yeah, we can talk about it.
You want to talk about it right now, real quick? Everybody gets off.
Sure.
Okay, let's do it. Everybody else, please exit.
Bye, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Bye,
much.
Ray.